Welcome to this masterclass from reaction to connection, working with triggers in your relationship. First of all, celebrate yourself for the courage to show up here. Being with triggers in a relationship is one of the hardest challenges in life, I would say. So it takes a tremendous amount of courage to be here and to wanting to work with this material. And I can promise you that if you apply the 8 steps that we'll be going over, that you will find much more empowerment and perhaps even joy in working with your triggers in your relationship. So what I'm gonna do in this masterclass is I'm gonna start with a brief framework of what is a trigger and how do you recognize a trigger, and then we'll go through the 8 steps. And you've also received a PDF with the steps, so you might want to have that with you so you can follow along on your PDF. And then I'm gonna give you some time to do the worksheet that you've also received, to explore one of your own triggers that shows up in your relationship and get some practice with the material. And don't miss the end of this masterclass, where we will have a very special person joining me and guiding us through a practice for deep reconnection and intimacy with your partner. Who am I? I'm Marie. I'm a love, sex, relationship coach and tantra trainer, and I've studied the ins and outs of human behavior and relationships over the last 10 years through social work, holistic therapy, love, sex, relationship coaching, tantra, and my own life. And I would say one of my biggest study objects has been my own relationships. I'm in a marriage, long-term relationship with my beloved husband, and discovering, exploring, researching our relationship and my showing up in the relationship, I would say, has been my biggest teacher. The relationship has gone through big ups and downs and has provided so much material for me and for us to study what happens when human beings start relating intimately and what happens when we hit into these big bumps together. So from my own research in relationship and from the teachers that I've worked and studied with, I've created these 8 steps that I will guide you through, that I found most helpful in working with the triggers that come up in every intimate relationship. Now, before we get started, I want to address the number one question that people ask me, which is, can I do this by myself? What if my partner doesn't want to join me in this practice? And the answer is yes. This is research for yourself. This is for your growth. This is for your development of love and connection. And of course, it's beautiful and super, super valuable to do this together with your partner. But yes, you can do the work by yourself. Also, can I do the work when I'm not in a relationship? Yes, there are so many things in life that trigger us. Intimate relationships are just one of the very potent ways that we get triggered. But there are so many situations, so you can apply this in your friendships, in your work, in whatever relationship you're in, that can activate and stir these triggers for you. So do the work yourself. Do the work yourself. And find your way and your skillfulness in being with your triggers. And you might inspire the people around you. You might inspire your partner. You might inspire others to start doing the work. But this here, you, is where it starts. So to start, I want to reframe something, which is triggers coming up in a relationship is a good sign. It is not a sign of failure. It is an opportunity for growth. Conflict, struggle, intensity in your relationship does not mean that you are failing. It does not mean that the relationship is failing. It does not mean that your partner is failing. It means that you have a lot of material to work with and to grow with and to find ways into deeper love and connection. So let's start with our first step in working with triggers, which is step number 1, acknowledging that you are in a trigger. What does it mean to be triggered. It means that your brain and your nervous system have picked up something in the situation that is translated within your inner system as dangerous or threatening. So you react to a signal rather than to the present moment. How do you recognize that you are triggered? There are a lot of physiological signs that can tell you that you're triggered. You might start to notice that your heart is beating very fast. You might start to become sweaty. You might become very hot or very cold. You might get fuzzy in your head or a little bit blurry. You might start to notice that you have a bit of a tunnel vision, like one directed thoughts that are all about this situation and what you want to say or don't want to say. You might notice a fight, flight, or freeze reaction in your system. These are all physiological signs that you are in a triggered state. And the first step is acknowledge, oh, I'm triggered. With this acknowledgement also comes acceptance. I'm triggered. Rather than, and I know this very well, shit, I'm triggered, I gotta get over this. Accept it. You are triggered in this moment. It is what it is. It is no failure. It is biology. So this is what you got to work with in this moment. So step number 2 is reconnect to your body. Because of all these physiological signs that come up when our nervous system is in a highly activated state, it is super important before anything else that we reconnect to our body. Now, what are the key ways to do this? Breathe. Take a couple of deep breaths, especially deep exhales, and sigh on the exhale. This is the easiest way to calm down our nervous system. Another way is touch. Touch your skin, stroke your skin or massage your skin. Let your body feel touch and presence. And if you can, find a way into connection. It might not be possible with your partner, but a trigger makes us often feel very alone and very isolated. So find your way into connection through calling a friend, even through going out into nature and finding connection to nature or to an animal. Whatever way you can come up with finding your way back into your body and into connection. Step number 3 is inner inquiry. What is my unmet need or desire in this moment? A conflict or a trigger is never about the content. You might think that you're very, very angry because your partner did not clean up the dishes, and it might be true that you prefer clean up dishes. But the fact that you are so angry about it is not because the dishes were not cleaned up. It is because there is an unmet need or desire that's not being fulfilled in this moment by your partner. This comes from childhood. This comes from the time where you needed your caretaker to fulfill your needs and desires. So this might be a desire for care. It might be a desire for love. It might be a desire for validation or for being seen or heard that is not being fulfilled in this moment. A very helpful question that you can ask yourself is, what do I make this mean? The fact that the dishes are not being cleaned up. What do I make it mean? Maybe I make it mean that my partner doesn't care about me. And that is activating the huge pain of when I was a child and I thought that my caretaker was not caring about me. So getting clarity on what is my unmet need. What do I make it mean that my partner does this and this, or that my partner says this and this? Step number 4 is, how can I give myself what I need? If I just discovered that my need of being taken care of is not being met in this moment, what can I do to take care of myself? It can be whatever is nourishing to myself. It can be whatever way of resourcing I have. If I just discovered that my need for love is not being met in this moment, how can I get back to love for myself? If I just discovered that my need for validation is not being met in this moment, How can I validate myself? This is where it starts. It starts with me fulfilling this unmet need or desire. And in doing this, in giving myself what I want, what I need, I start to empower my mature self. So the triggered state, you could say, is almost always you're being in a less mature part of yourself. You're being in this child that did not get what it needed, which as a child was horrible, was life-threatening maybe, that you did not get the amount of love, the amount of validation, the amount of care that you needed. Now, in finding the clarity of your unmet need or desire and giving yourself what you need, you empower your mature self that actually can give you love. Your mature self can give you validation. Your mature self can see and hear and celebrate who you are in this moment, even if your partner is not able to do that in this moment. Step number 5 is communicate. Communicate with your partner the clarity that you just found. What is the need that is not being met in this moment? What is the desire that is not being met in this moment? How does that make you feel? So, for example, you not putting away the dishes makes me feel not being taken care of and activates my need, my desire to be taken care of. So be very careful that you don't blame or judge your partner. So it's not because you don't clean up the dishes, I'm not taken care of, or you not taking care of me by not cleaning up the dishes. But let your partner in your experience and be very clear that it's not about the present moment. You're not cleaning up the dishes activates my old child unfulfilled need of being taken care of. Oftentimes we sort of think or assume that our partner knows what's going on in us, but really they don't. So let them in, let your partner into your experience of this moment. And step number 6 is make a clear request to your partner. How can your partner help you or support you in this unmet need or desire that you just uncovered? So you can, for example, say, you cleaning up the dishes makes me feel super taken care of, and it makes me heal this deep wound of not being taken care of. If you make a request to your partner, make sure that it is very specific and very clear, and also that it is up to your partner to say yes or no. It is a request, it is not a demand. So oftentimes we have these requests built in as our hidden expectations. We would not speak them, but we really, really hope that our partner will do this or this or this, or our partner will say that or that or that. And by not being very explicit but hoping, there is a big chance that we're subtly disappointed all the time, and that makes us feel subtly resentful all the time. And you might notice this in your relationship, where you kind of hope that your partner would do this, but they didn't, and it sort of seems not too big of a deal to say it, but you are a little bit resentful and you are a little bit disappointed. And this is such a big sabotager to the aliveness and the flow of love in a relationship. If I resent my partner, no matter how subtle, I will not have this free flow of love and connection with my partner. So by speaking explicitly our desires and our requests, no matter how small or not important they might seem, we own the fact that actually they do make a big difference for us. So be very clear. I can ask my partner, hey, you know what? If you don't clean up the dishes, I feel this deep childhood unmet need of being taken care of. I feel not taken care of in this moment. So you would support and help me tremendously by cleaning up the dishes, and it makes me feel so taken care of. That's my request. It's very clear that this is what my partner can do to support me, and it's up to my partner to say yes or no. So this brings us to step number 6, which is owning the response of your partner. Your partner might say, yeah, sure, babe, I can do that. I would love to support you in that. Or, no, I'm sorry, I cannot do this for you in this moment. And that is a completely free and valid response. So this step is really about being able to be with the response that our partner gives us. A request is an opportunity for both partners to heal, and it's an opportunity for truth of the one requesting and for the truth of the one responding. There is no demand, there is no pressure. It is simply an opportunity to get to greater truth and clarity in your relationship. Now, what happens when my partner says no and it's really, really hard for me? I go back to the step of giving myself what I need. If it's really hard for my partner to say yes to this request for whatever reason, I go back to the step of giving myself what I need. Now, the last step, the step number 8, is celebrate. My God, you did it. You just went through one of the most challenging aspects of being in a relationship. You just worked through these triggers, and maybe you're not completely resolved yet, but you did the work. You're doing the work. You're in it. You're in the research. So celebrate yourself and your relationship wherever it is at this moment, even if it didn't resolve, even if there's still emotion that might need to be released. You are doing the work. You are taking this opportunity and this challenge to find your way to deeper love and connection, which is an incredible celebration, which is so much needed in every relationship and in humanity. So if you can at this point take a moment together to have some form of non-verbal contact. So maybe you can hold hands for a moment, maybe you can hug, maybe you can just go for a walk and be silent together. Take a moment to reconnect without words and feel your baseline of connection. Now I'm going to invite you into an amazing practice of finding your connection. This is a practice that can deepen your intimacy and your love tremendously. That can, I would say, even prevent triggers from coming up. So stay on for that. I'm going to invite a very special person to do this with me. But before that, I'm going to invite you to take your worksheet and to fill out the steps for one of the most reoccurring triggers in your relationship. It can be something that comes up over and over. It can be something that happened today or yesterday or last week. Just give yourself 5 minutes of practice and filling out this sheet. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes we're going to come back and you're going to be guided to this exquisite practice of connection that you can do by yourself or with your partner if your partner is watching with you. So see you back in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back. I hope it was helpful for you to work with one of your triggers, that it was insightful, and also remember that it takes so much practice. So do it over and over again. And contact me if you have any questions, if you want to share a story, if you want to work in depth with me, email me through marieannawinter.com. So now I'm going to introduce to you my husband, Troy, and we're going to guide you through a beautiful practice of connection.
Yes.
Yes. So is there anything that you want to say about triggers in our relationship?
I would say more that this practice that we're about to do is one of like the deepest, relaxing, nourishing things for me. And after any sort of conflict or fight, or even just like spending, the day apart, to really be able to come back into our communal field is really important. And to do that physically, to do that energetically is beautiful.
Yeah, so in a way, I think we do both believe that the deeper the baseline of connection is and is registered by our nervous system, the less likely it is for triggers to show up.
So I'd say one of the things that's really changed for me is allowing more conflict, but allowing us to go into it more fully, and then having the tools so that it's still safe in order to express the anger, the sadness, the grief, the fear, and then also having tools to resource during and after that entire process. So I think because we have more capacity, because we have these very clear 8 steps to walk through, we can actually go into deeper conflicts that were sort of lurking, sort of unresolved under the surface, and actually go through them and have more energy at the other side.
Mm, beautiful, beautiful. So, what we've been experiencing over the last years through doing all of this work is that there's also a way or a practice that, at least for us, really, really helps us to even prevent triggers. And that's the practice we're going to share with you. We call it the embrace meditation, because very simply, we will be embracing, and it's kind of like a meditation. But what is actually happening is that it is a very deep and profound way for our nervous systems to sync up and to feel safe in each other's presence. Because if you remember about what is a
Mhm.
trigger is an association of your brain and nervous system of something being not okay in the moment. So this practice really helps to rewire our brain that this contact is a place of rest. It is a place of homecoming. It is a place of safety.
Mhm.
So that's why we want to give this practice to you and really recommend that you do this on a consistent basis. I dare to say that for every day that we forget to do this practice, we have at least 3 more triggered situations coming up. Would you agree?
I'm not sure about that, but for sure, but for sure, having like this isn't just a way to resolve triggers. It's also a practice of deeply seeing another person, and when we can truly appreciate this other being in front of us, a lot of a lot of my anger or frustration can also just evaporate when I really see and understand another being. And another level is that this is a place of common resource, that we can both come to a place of rest with each other, and it nourishes something around touch, co-regulation of our nervous systems, and I think just rewires the whole system to recognize, like this person is on my team. We are allies
Mm.
in this journey together, and and even if there's conflict or seeming like differences, this is a way to come to a meeting of two different beings, right? They're not trying to be the same. What they're trying to do is meet in a way that the differences can be synergistic.
Beautiful. So what we're going to do for the embrace meditation, I'll describe the steps for you real quick, and then we're going to demo it and walk you through so you can join if you're watching together with your partner right now. So the steps are very easy. We will be laying down, clothes on. We will be embracing each other. And then both partners will describe something about how they are feeling in the moment. So this is really about the moment and what is present in your body in this particular moment.
Particularly for men, being in contact with the physical feelings and sensations in the body is really important. It's so easy to intellectualize or try to understand a problem, or why is this conflict happening, why doesn't she understand, why don't we meet in this moment, and to actually allow the resolution and meeting to come in the body rather than just to come at a level of thought. That's really
Mhm.
important.
So for the embrace meditation that we're about to do, we will demo it and guide you through so you can join in with us. And I'll just describe the steps real quick here before we get started. The first step is we will be laying down in an embrace. And it's very important that you really take time to feel what kind of closeness or distance is right for this moment for both of you. So you find a position where you have at least one body part touching, and you find the right position for the both of you in this moment. And then there will be some time to Simply look into each other's eyes and tune in with your own body. Feel the presence of the other and just be in that quiet space together. Then there will be some time in which each partner will share what is present right now. So, this is about the sensations that are present in your body, perhaps some emotions, perhaps some thoughts, but don't go into a story. Really keep it in the present moment. And then you'll both have some time to express what you love about the other. It's very simple,
Mhm.
it's very profound. So join us and find a place where you can lay down comfortably. You can start with having your eyes closed and take a moment to feel your body, feel your breath, feel the presence of your partner. Notice how you are breathing. Notice your partner breathing. And slowly open your eyes and meet the eyes of your partner, keeping at least 60% of your attention in yourself. Simply witness your reactions. Nothing that needs to change, be fixed, be improved. Allowing this moment to be as it is. Now the partner with the longest hair will start. You'll have 1 minute to speak what is present in you. Body sensations, feelings, thoughts. Anything along the lines of right now I'm noticing. Always coming back to the present moments. You'll have 1 minute and we'll let you know when to switch. And now you can switch and the other partner speaks along the lines of right now I'm noticing. Body sensations, feelings, thoughts, always coming back to the present moments. You will now switch again and the first partner will speak what I love about you. You'll have 1 minute and we'll let you know when to switch. And now switch and the other partner will speak. What I love about you. Now take a moment to thank each other. Thank each other for sharing this moment, for being on this journey together, for discovering ways into deeper connection and love together. So that was it. That was our masterclass, being with triggers in relationships from reaction to connection. I hope that it inspired you. I hope that you learned a lot. Keep on practicing, keep on doing the work. If you want to work in depth with me, contact me. If you want to share a story, if you want to ask a question, email me through marieannawinter.com. So much love to all of you.